Once a salmon crosses the bar extending underwater from Westport to ocean shores, its fate is sealed. Whether it will end up on the dining room table or proceed up the river to die near the hatchery or spawning grounds depends on the fishing season established by the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. The majority of the salmon coming into Grays Harbor to head up one of its river tributaries ends up in a net during a commercial season established by WDFW. Recreational fishers have long complained that the seasons set for commercial fishers are intentionally weighted to favor the fish ending its life cycle in a net rather than on the end of a pole. Catch numbers can be misleading. Take two categories called commercial and recreational that are supposed to divide up 100 salmon available for harvest. Now if the split is 50-50, it appears to look like a level playing field. Now let's take another look at the same division of 100 salmon and first divide the recreational category into three. Let's call them the comfortable plunker, the happy troller, and the hardcore caster. Notice how the level playing field disappears? You're about to see that it works similarly the same way when reversed. In accordance with the powers granted by the legislature, Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife issues two basic types of fishing licenses. One is a commercial license, the other is a recreational license. WDFW sets the rules and regulations that each must follow when using the privileges granted by the license. The basic fundamental difference between the two is a commercial license holder is allowed to sell the fish harvested, while the recreational license holder is expected to use the fish caught for their own personal consumption. A limited number of commercial licenses are issued for use in either Grays Harbor or the nearby Willapa and their tributaries. Recreational license holders can also move back and forth between the two systems. While the courts have ruled members of certain tribes have distinctive rights under ancient treaties, Washington state law does not differentiate between an Indian or a non-Indian fisher. A commercial or recreational license holder receives no distinction or privilege based on one's race or tribal affiliations. While under no legal requirements to do so, Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife routinely chooses to segregate commercial fishers by whether or not they are Native American, and then again once based off their tribal affiliation. In the case of Grays Harbor and its river tributaries, WDFW separates the commercial fishery into three. The Coral Indian Nation is called the QIN treaty nets, then there's the Chehalis tribal nets, and finally the non-treaty gill nets. The last category left is recreational, which includes all the non-commercial fishers in the entire region. Acquired by fishingthechehalis.net from WDFW under a public document request, or PDR as it's commonly known, Excel spreadsheets used by the department found the seasons established by WDFW from 2000 to 2010 initially seemed to show a balanced coho harvest between the different categories. Until that is, one rejoins the commercial fishers into one category. Once combined, the commercial fishery vastly overpowers the recreational category during the 11-year period. Using this separation installed by WDFW, one finds that the last decade, the QIN treaty nets averaged 52% of the coho, Chehalis tribal nets got 4%, and the non-treaty gill netters swept up 14%. From the bar at Westport all the way back 215 miles into Lewis County, the recreational license holders bagged 30%. When combined back into one, the data finds the commercial fisheries grabbed 70% of the coho harvest in Grays Harbor and all of its tributaries. It was similar for Chinook, where the nets got 64%. The largest discrepancy was with the chum. As the commercial net captured 97%, the recreational license holders were limited to an average of 3% a year. Are you confused yet? Even after reviewing hundreds of internal department documents, fishingthechehalis.net could not see the difference that apparently Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife sees between commercial fishers. Let's do a quick test to see if you can tell the difference yourself. Non-treaty gill netter or QIN treaty net? QIN or NT? NT or QIN? QIN or NT? Quinault Treaty Net or Chehalis Tribal Net? Chehalis Tribal Net or Quinault Treaty Net? Tribal fish buyer, treaty fish buyer, or non-treaty fish buyer? If you're still confused, perhaps your input will help clear things up. FishingTheChehalis.net asked you to take with this quick poll. Which brand of Chehalis salmon tastes best? Do consumers and restaurants that buy their fish in a market smoke it in the traditional way if it was caught in a tribal net and then in an electric smoker when caught in a non-treaty net? Can the Hawaiians really tell the difference between roe from a Chehalis salmon caught in a Quinault Treaty net, a Chehalis Tribal net, or a non-treaty gill net? Those that want to turn in the results of their poll can email it in using the FishingTheChehalis.net contact page. Or if you want to share them directly with WDFW, you can mail it to Region 6 headquarters in Montesano, Washington. Next up is another 3-part series. This time it's about debunking the myths surrounding the decline in the salmon populations in Grace Harbor and the Chehalis River. We'll take on, where did all the salmon go? The controversial Bolt decision and other legal impacts. Does WDFW really want to see salmon return to your creek? If you like to hold a poll every now and then, you need to watch it. You'll enjoy it.